So is the government basically admitting that UFOs are real? Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about U.S. Senator Josh Hawley basically admitting that what the UFO whistleblower David Grusch said about non-alien aircraft landing and crashing and how they've been captured by governments around the world. He is basically saying that that's real, according to what he has been told in briefings. Now, there's a lot we got to get into. We got to get into the video of the whistleblower giving an interview that was apparently sanctioned and approved by the U.S. government. And we got to get into Josh Hawley's claims. Now, first things first, I have articles, videos, everything. I will link to everything in the description box. But you see what's going on right here. Pentagon UFO whistleblower claims people have been killed by non-human intelligences and says U.S. government will do anything to protect the secret. David Grusch served 14 years in the Air Force before going public with his claims. He says the government has been lying for decades about discovering UFOs and extraterrestrial life. Now, there's an interview he did with News Nation we'll get to in a minute, but during that interview, he provided documents that said he was approved to give the interview, but he just couldn't say certain things. Like he couldn't reveal pictures and whatnot because that'd be too sensitive as far as, the U.S. is security. He couldn't show and say things like that. But beyond that, he says, hey, UFOs are a real thing. We have captured them. We have non-human origin equipment right now in our government, and other countries have their own system. China, Russia, etc. They have their own system of being able to collect these kinds of aircrafts and technology. Okay. Now that's that article right there. Now, here is the key point from Josh Hawley. This is on Wired.com and also on Outkick. Outkick basically cited Wired.com. So I'm right here right now. You see the headline here, UFO whistleblower meet a conspiracy-loving Congress. So, of course, they got to kind of gaslight you a little bit in the headline, right? Let me get to the point where they're talking about Josh Hawley. So, lawmakers are still awaiting more answers on the spy balloons that dominated the news and American airspace at the start of the year, especially in regard to the 4 objects that the Air Force shot down within an 8-day period in February. Did you hear about that? So this February, they shot down 4 objects. What are these objects? Who knows? In the wake of those military engagements, the Biden administration held closed-door classified briefings for members of Congress, but they were less than straightforward, at least initially, until lawmakers pushed officials on UAPs. That's the new name for UFOs. I think UAP stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. If that's wrong, y'all let me know in the comments. Please correct me. But here's the meat and potatoes of what Josh Hawley was speaking of. Quote, they were talking about the balloons, and then several senators pointed out, now hold on, we've had a lot of unidentified anomalous phenomenon for years now. And that's when the military briefer was like, true, said Senator Josh Hawley, a Missouri Republican. The takeaway from that is they had thousands of sightings of these things over the years, which was news to me. So I'm not surprised necessarily by these latest allegations because it sounds pretty close to what they kind of grudgingly admitted to us in the briefing. So what Josh Hawley is referring to right there is what the whistleblower said, pretty much matching what he's been told in briefings. Okay, now let's get into what and that's the Outkick article right there. Let's get into what the whistleblower said. Of course, this will be in the description box if you want to watch it for yourself. I will not play the entire thing. This is about 12 minutes long. I'll play about 3 to 5 minutes so you get the general gist of what's happening. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
We're going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow.
We have all seen these blurry videos of unidentified flying objects. Video evidence, if you will, that old tales of UFOs may not all be conspiracy theories. In recent years, Congress starting an official U.S. government Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, recently renamed the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO. And now in a News Nation exclusive, David Grusch, an Air Force veteran, former member of that task force, and veteran of the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, is formally blowing the whistle on secrets he says no one has ever shared publicly before.
You are one of the most trusted former intelligence officials in the U.S. defense and intelligence establishment.
Yes, I was.
You were trusted with the most intimate secrets.
Yes.
Grusch sitting down with award-winning investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, who's reporting for News Nation and has spent years reporting on the UFO question.
What conclusion did you come to at the end of your time on the UAP task force?
The UAP task force was refused access to a broad crash retrieval program.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
Now, again, he was approved by the government to give this interview. He had documentation that he says, hey, this is what they told me I could do. I could talk about this and this, but not that and that. So, hey, I think that this guy is pretty legitimate.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
And you know what? One thing that I've not heard is anybody come out and debunk what he says. Maybe they have, but I've not heard about it. This interview has been out for a while, at least a week or more. And I've not heard I've not heard the Biden administration come out and say that this is categorically false. I've not heard that. Again, maybe they have said it, but I've not heard it. Let's continue.
You're kidding.
No. I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. It was a ruse. People started confiding in me. They approached me. I have plenty of current and former senior intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me they were a part of a program. They named the program. I've never heard of it. And they told me, based on their oral testimony, and they provided me documents and other proof, that there was, in fact, a program that the UAP task force was not read into.
Grusch alleges the U.S. government has recovered non-human craft for decades. He's filed a whistleblower complaint saying he gave what he calls the classified proof to Congress and the Intelligence Community Inspector General. News Nation has confirmed David Grusch's credentials and resume. We've not seen or verified the alleged proof he says he's provided to investigators. He says he can't show us the proof for national security reasons. He also tells us he's not seen photos of the alleged craft himself, but has talked extensively with other intelligence officials who have.
If you're right, if you're telling us the truth, everyone, the entire American public, has been lied to for decades.
Yeah, there's a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extreme.
Well, that ain't nothing new. That's going on not just for UFOs, but for everything. The government will pretty much tell you whatever they want to keep you in line. They don't want to tell you the absolute truth.
Extremely unethical and immoral.
You are saying to the human race, for the first time, an official intelligence representative at a high level from the US government is saying publicly, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone. Absolutely, the data points empirically that we're not alone, yeah.
Do we have bodies? Do we have species of
Well,
non-human?
naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
It's also harder for people to wrap their minds around the concept.
Well, there's more to that particular interview, but for time's sake, that is a general gist of what's happening. So the whistleblower from the U.S. government, he is a real person. News Nation confirms his credentials. I've not heard any kickback from the federal government. He says, hey, not only do we have crashed alien craft, we also may have retrieved some of the pilots who are of non-human origin, and some of these guys are aggressive. Well, I'm not sure what you're going to call these beings. They might be aggressive, and they may have killed Americans. Again, there's more to that interview. I'll link to it in the description. But as I close, I want to say this. I can't really say I'm surprised at what he said there. I'm not necessarily, tinfoil hat wearer or nothing like that, but I'm open-minded, at least to a certain extent. And, for human beings to be alone in the universe all by ourselves, I mean, that's kind of a reach in my opinion. Like to think that there are just all kind of crazy things going on is less of a reach than to say that we are by ourselves in the universe. Now, I don't know exactly what they have, where it came from, or what. It could come from right here on planet Earth. You never know what's going on. But I think that this guy's credible. They verified his background. And I hope that we get more information soon. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about the whistleblower, David Grusch, and the origin of these particular craft, otherworldly, right here in the right here on planet Earth? What's going on here in your humble opinion? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I think this guy's pretty credible. They verified his background. You got a U.S. senator speaking out and saying, hey, it sounds kind of like what I've been told in classified briefings. They grudgingly told us that is what's going on. Well, maybe it's not classified because he's talking about it, but whatever. I think that there is some legitimacy here, and I hope that we get real information. Show us the bodies, show us the spacecraft, because it's kind of hard to convince people that you're telling the truth when you can't provide the evidence. Okay, you have the evidence, but you can't provide it. It's hard to back up your claim. But I think there is something here, and again, I can only hope we see the actual evidence in the very near future. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.